Today we are going to be discussing the platypus. Kingdom Animalia, phylum Chordata, and class Mammalia, Ornithorhynchus bloomback is a very unique animal with many distinctive features. Some may relate this animal to the beaver in Canada because of their similar tail and webbed feet. The platypus, however, is secluded to eastern Australia. It is part of an exclusive 5-mammal group to lay eggs rather than give birth. It usually lives to around 11 years, but in captivity it can live to 17 years of age. It is extremely agile in an aquatic environment. I remember when I visited Australia, I went to a zoo and we couldn't get a picture of one. It was too fast. It can dive underwater for about 40 seconds without coming back up for air, but commonly these dives last only 10 to 20 seconds. The platypus is a carnivore, which means they feed on meat. Not your regular meat diet though. It feeds on annelid worms, insect larvae, and freshwater yabby that it digs out and catches using its snout. It has cheek pouches to carry this prey back to the surface where they are eaten. The platypus eats about 20% of its body weight every day, so it spends about 12 hours a day on the hunt for food. Similar to dolphins, they use echolocation to find and hunt their prey. This technique senses the electric fields of its prey using their muscle contractions. Uniquely, platypuses are actually venomous. A male platypus can inject venom through a gland on their hind legs called ankle spurs. The females are born with the same gland but lose this ability within a year. The venom is not lethal to humans, but the pain is so excruciating that the victim might be incapacitated. The venom is mostly used for defensive purposes, but since it's found only within males, it can be used against each other to assert dominance or during mating season. Unlike most mammals, in recent studies, it has shown that platypuses have double-coned eyes. Curiously though, they're not actually used underwater. Their ears and their eyes are both useless in the water as they use the echolocation found within their beaks. While swimming, we can identify it as a platypus through the absence of its ears, as I mentioned. When in the water, it propels itself through an alternate rowing motion of its front feet. Its hind legs actually don't assist it in swimming at all other than steering, which the tail is used for. When on land, the platypus goes back to its home, a straight short burrow, always near the riverbank and not far from water. They often hide their habitat underneath a large tangle of roots. The average sleep time for platypuses is said to be almost 14 hours a day. Its mating season occurs between June and October, and after mating, the female will construct a more elaborate burrow deeper in the original and lay its eggs. The male takes no part in this process. The platypus was first discovered by the Europeans in 1798, the common name platypus coming from the Latinization of the Greek word platypus, meaning flat-footed. George Shaw, a British scientist, gave it its first classification of the platypus, Anatinus, which is how he initially described it. It was soon discovered, though, that this genus name, the one of platypus that is, was already being used by this guy, the ambrosia beetle. Now, as you can see, this looks nothing like a platypus, but it was given the name before it, so the name for platypus was invalid. The rules of priority are a way of naming species. It states that the first formal scientific name given to a plant or animal taxon is the first name that shall be used. In the case of the platypus, this is Ornithorhynchus. Once a name has been chosen, no other subsequent publication or use of this name shall be valid, and for that reason it had to be renamed. Therefore, in 1800, it was given a new genus name by Johann Blumenbach, and using the rules of priority, was named Ornithorhynchus anticus, meaning bird snout and duck-like in Latin. When it was first discovered, scientists actually thought that platypuses were fake because it had such an odd appearance. This is because of all the adaptation that it has undergone throughout the years. Platypuses are part of the exclusive group of mammals that lay eggs, most of which are echidnas similar to it. These are called monotremes. The reason for this is that before the delivery of live young became a common trait, laying eggs was the main form of delivery. The platypus, being such an old animal, kept this trait throughout the years. The platypus is the only creature on Earth to have a venomous spur. As I mentioned, the bill allows the platypus to hear and breathe while underwater. It sweeps its bill 2 to 3 times per second to echolocate its prey. The tail is not only used for steering or swimming, but it also has a fat storage for energy use, as well as during the winter. Interestingly, it can also be used to grasp and drag objects. Platypuses have 2 layers of fur. The first layer is short and dense so that the water can't get through, and the second layer is longer and gets the fur wet but acts as a water seal. It is crucial to keep the platypus warm because it is predominantly nocturnal. In cold weather, the platypus can actually reduce its blood flow to parts of its body to protect its crucial organs. In winter, the platypus's kidney has adapted to disposing of water rapidly as it's in its environment, being an aquatic one, has no shortage of fresh water. It can also retain and absorb salts very efficiently. Its blood has an increased amount of hemoglobin, making it oxygen-rich so that it can stay underwater for longer. Biography can be extremely useful in proving and finding out the evolution of animals, as it proves inferential evidence to common descent. The oldest discovered fossil of the modern platypus dates back to about 100,000 years ago, during the Quaternary period. The fossilized Steropodon, another ancestor, was discovered in South Wales and is composed of an opalized lower jawbone with 3 molar teeth, whereas the modern platypus is actually toothless. The fossil is thought to be about 110 million years old, making it the oldest mammal fossil found in Australia. Another fossil relative of the platypus has been found in Argentina, indicating monotremes were present in the supercontinent of Gondwana, when the continents of South Africa and Australia were actually joined via Antarctica, as you can see in this diagram here. This happened about 167 million years ago. In 2004, researchers at the Australian National University discovered the platypus had 10 sex chromosomes compared to the 2 X and Y chromosomes in most other mammals. The platypus's sex chromosomes have been found to have great homology to the bird's Z chromosome. The platypus genome also has both reptilian and mammalian genes associated with egg fertilization. Though the platypus lacks the mammalian sex-determining gene SRY, a study has found the mechanism of sex determination in the AMH gene on the oldest Y chromosome. A draft version of the platypus genome sequence was published in Nature on the 8th of May 2008, revealing both reptilian and mammalian elements, as well as 2 genes found previously only in birds, amphibians, and fish. More than 80% of the platypus's genes are common to other mammals whose genomes have been sequenced. This shows the relation to many different animals, not only phylogenetically, but genetically as well.